Amber, you lead the way with the flashlight. You're going into the jungle now, following the reflection in the trees. Hopeful that it would be some good news in all this disaster. When you suddenly see how the trees open up into some kind of glade. It's grass here. And you can see that there seems to be a trail leading from the water hole that when they fell into, leading into this glade where you can see some kind of house. Not a primitive house, not something a savage would live in. It looks like something modern humans would have built. It's made of tree trunks, like a timber house, but standing on poles 1 meter over the ground. There's some stairs up to a wooden door, and also windows. The house is not very big, it's more of a cottage. But you can also see that on top of the house, there are like a kind of a metal mast. It seems broken, but it reaches from the roof of the cottage up in the trees, pretty high. Like a radio mast.
This looks modern.
Still the house is overgrown with vines and things, like it'd been abandoned many, many years ago.
It's probably abandoned, I say, and I start moving up towards it.
It's shelter and it looks promising. Wendy, you okay?
I'm fine, darling. Thank you. I do appreciate the concern. I actually really do. It's just the wrist. I just a bit of a stumble and a wrist. I'll give it a day or two. I'm sure it'll be better. But yes, let's go and investigate.
I go up and to try and open the door.
Yeah, you try the handle and it seems that it's open.
Is there like a lock and stuff? Is it like...
No, not on the outside, but if you open the door a little, you can see that it's some kind of rough kind of bar to block the door with on the inside, made of wood. So someone has probably tried to make this to be able to shut the door to the outside. It's not only that, when you go up the stairs, you can also see like old broken arrow shots that are kind of deep into the wall. Like a long time ago, arrows were shot on the house. This seems also to be in the ground around the stairs. Like the house was attacked.
Well, I open the door and step in, and I look around with the flashlight.
You can immediately see 4 bunk beds. And what seems to be like a stove with a cooking pan. There seems to be some kind of food here. Old food.
Cans?
Yeah, cans. Tin cans, and you can also see like a pair of boots standing in the inside of the door, and they're hanging like old clothes here. Like expedition clothes, hats and things like that, and you can see there are boxes for keeping stuff, and people have been here, have been living here, civilized people.
And I motion for the others. Come on, get in.
I quickly come in, start looking around. I'm very confused. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I don't really say anything.
And as they come in, I say, like, let's close the door and put the bar up. I think I'm gonna turn off the flashlight even.
Yeah, it gets very dark if you turn out the flashlight.
Yeah, but I think somehow maybe it's better for now. I say that, like, maybe I should turn off the flashlight and we sort of wait till morning or something.
I think that's the best option, darling. We've lost the thing we maybe had. All we can do now is wait for morning and try and double back, or we can't go any further tonight.
Let's see if we can find anything that we can light up, like a torch or a lantern or something. I don't know. Just give me half a minute to check if there's anything.
Don't you think it's better that it's dark?
It will be hard to find anything, but just give me half a second. I'll just see if I can find anything that can shed some light.
I don't like the idea. I don't like the light. No, I think we should have it dark.
I would agree with Amber.
Let's keep it dark for now and rest until... Right? Don't you think that's a better idea, Simon?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we could take these... You could... Look, beds! And I turn off the flashlight and I feel one of the beds, like, are they... like mattresses and stuff?
Yeah. Sheets and everything.
I think I'm gonna go to one of them and I just slump back, sort of cradling my wrist, and I'm like... I'm just overcome with fatigue. My perhaps adrenaline has now worn off and I'm feeling tired, hot, unhappy, and I just want to go to sleep.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get my shoes off, and my feet hurt so badly, but...
Let me look at that.
Thanks. And I start eating some of the paste and stuff again.
Yeah. You're sitting there in the darkness. You need to actually have the flashlight lit if you're going to look at the feet, because it's too dark in here to see anything.
Okay, so I just say, no, it's fine. Just wait until morning.
Yeah, I just don't want you to get any infected blisters or anything.
I'm sure it can wait till the morning. The wind's...
Yeah, just try to get some sleep, Amber. Just, I'll keep an eye out for something.
You didn't eat earlier when you followed that native into the jungle, and you are really hungry and thirsty now. You could skip the food, but you will probably not feel so well tomorrow.
No, I intend to try to stay awake until the sun rises, so I will need the food and probably water as well.
Then you will need to drink 2 bottles to kind of filling up your reserves, and eat 2 rations of food. Not so much in every one of them, so you need 3 every day to keep energized. You could probably live on 1, but you wouldn't feel so good. You would feel hungry and thirsty all the time.
I'll eat 2, but I'll drink 1, but then again, there is people living here on the island, so that is kind of evidence that there should be drinkable water somewhere. How many bottles do we have?
You now have 14 left.
I'll drink 2 bottles and eat 2 food.
Yeah. And the girls haven't drank or eaten anything left yet. So, I mean, it sounded like Wendy just fell asleep at the bed, was so tired. Amber?
No, I sit down and I eat something.
Yeah. Your feet hurt also. You have blisters that are probably going to... They're probably not blisters anymore. They are more like small wounds where the skin have be peeled off by the sand and cliffs and everything. And the sneakers helped a little bit, but it's still a pain to walk with them without something protect.
I was gonna say, I thought I might be asleep, but by the sounds of it, if these guys are moving around, making noise, I mean, do I? I don't sleep well on the best of days. I don't think I'm feeling relaxed right now. So do I sleep? If I don't, I might then meekly be like, alright, give me some food, please.
You may sleep because you're a little bit high on painkillers. You're kind of dosing you off at the moment. Dosing everything off. But it's up to you. Do you want to eat? You can eat before you sleep. You're really hungry also and thirsty.
I kind of remark, just throw me something over, please. And then sleep. So I, eat and drink a bit and then off to sleep.
I think I sit in silence for a bit, eating. Then I lean a bit closer to Amber and start, well, not whispering, but talking in like hushed voices, with a hushed voice, saying, you know what, this is actually the most serious I've been for a really, really long time. This is usually not the kind of situations I find myself in, and believe it or not, people usually find me funny. It's hard to tell, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. You were good with making the backpacks.
Yeah, well, technical engineer.
Really?
Yeah. Well, not the... right now, doesn't feel like it matters too much, but maybe in the morning we can find whatever's hooked up to that antenna and see if I can make it work.
Sounds good. Sounds really good. And I lie down and I try to sleep despite my aching feet.
And Simon, are you going to stay awake the whole night, not sleeping?
I'm gonna probably sit on the floor next to where Amber's sleeping. Like, cause I'm thinking maybe she was sitting on the bed and I was sitting on the ground next to it and she just lies down and falls asleep. So I kind of stay there for the rest of the night. I think there's a good chance or risk that I will fall asleep, because I didn't sleep the other night at all. And we've been walking all day and it's been really, really stressful. So probably not too long after both the girls have fallen asleep, I will probably be sleeping as well. But I really, really try to stay awake.
The last thing that you remember is that your head, you kind of like don't mean to, but you're sitting near Amber and she is like laying on her side, so it just happens that your head kind of slumps down and you almost use her like stomach as a pillow. It's kind of nice to feel the warmth from her, and also she smells really nice, even if she's been walking all the day. So you kind of fall to sleep to the sound of her heart and the movement of her body when she breathes. Wendy, you're waking up to the sound of the morning jungle. Animals. You can see the sunlight lightning into cracks between the timber in the cottage. You can see it's pretty big anyway for being a cottage, but it's a lot of things in here. You can see what seems to be an old radio. That type of radio with a lot of like buttons on it to like screw on and things like that. Connected to a cable that runs up to the roof of the cottage. You can also see that on a shelf over the stove, there seems to be a big can with something that looks like, yeah, it says coffee on it. They have coffee in here.
Well, I think... Is there anything to heat it up with, or water?
The stove. It seems to be able. You can make a fire in it. There are some kind of pipe leading out of the cottage, so you're probably able to make a little fire in it without burning up the cottage.
I kind of rise out of bed. I wince. I feel my wrist. It doesn't feel awful now, but it hurts. I give it a bit of a flex. I sort of stumble out of bed, wipe some grime off my blouse. I briefly look at Simon and Amber.
Yeah, they look like small. They look really cute, I would guess. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I feel they both remind me of my darling too. Not so young anymore. Once. Well, not quite. Amber's a lot better. Simon's probably what I would have had if I had a son. Yeah. It would have been like him, wouldn't it? Sort of wrinkle my nose, and I then go to the stove, and I sort of reach for this tub of coffee, and...
Yeah. It seems to be a vacuum-packed can of coffee. Unopened. You don't know how long these things keep fresh, but maybe forever, you don't know. You have to open and see.
I will try and open it. Have a sniff.
You do that, and there's a really, really nice smell of coffee that meets you when you open it up. It's not moldy or in any way destroyed. It seems really fresh, actually. Amazing.
Yes, I could try and heat it up. Why not? I need something good.
Yeah, you have to use one of the water bottles.
It's mine that I'd be drinking. May as well drink it as coffee. I will do this. I start putting it on. I start humming a little to myself. I like to hum in the mornings when I make coffee.
There are actually a little collection of firewood near the stove also. Has been laying there forever, so it's really dry. Someone has even chopped it up really nice, so it's just to fill up the stove and light a fire.
I hum, and I actually start humming a little tune that I don't normally get to hum because my husband absolutely hates it. He always says, "Stop humming that damn tune." And I hum it louder. But no one's telling me off today. I look over to Simon. He has a lighter on him, doesn't he? Can I go over and just sort of peek for his lighter?
Yeah, he's sleeping really deep. So you can just... You have to feel in his shorts, I guess, to find the Zippo. You can see the bulk of this cigarette package in... So you find the lighter and can borrow it for now.
Good, yes, I'll borrow it. I'm going to give it back. I just need it for a few moments, and I try and use the lighter to light this firewood so I can get this coffee pot burning and have something. After all, I look back at them, I think it's not like I have some nice young man squeezing up to me.
They're actually totally defenseless at the moment. Totally at your every whim if you wanted to, but you light up the fire and make coffee. You notice that they start to wake up when the coffee pots start to boil and the smell of coffee spreads in the cottage. You haven't... I guess you two didn't really expect the sound of boiling water or the smell of coffee. It's a nice surprise to wake up to.
I'm humming, and I look over. I see them both wake up. I offer Amber a smile. Although I do smile a little at Simon. Hey, how do we like our coffee? Let me guess. Cafe latte? I'm afraid I can't do that, sweetie, but it's something.
I usually don't drink coffee, but I'll take it black.
Good choice, Simon. Good choice.
I must have fallen asleep. Sorry, I was...
That's all right. We were safe in here. All three of us. Snug as a bug. And I start trying to find a cup or two to start pouring this coffee. Rubbing my wrist a little. And at this point, as Simon's awake, I just sort of casually hand back his lighter. I go, just had to borrow that, sweetie.
That's okay.
There are small metal cups at the stub. The type you can have in your belt, like with you when you're out wandering. So these kind of camping cups you can use to fill up coffee or soup or whatever you want to fill the cups with.
Well, what do you say, Simon? I think we found ourselves a little den. It's a better place than our camp was.
Yeah, this is really a step up, I must admit. Amber, do you want coffee as well?
I am like the bed sheet wrapped around me, and I sit up in the bed, and I take a cup if you're offering it to me, and I sit there and I drink a little. It smells nice.
Doesn't that feel good, darling? Some civilization. Now,
Yeah.
I, at this point, look over at that weird radio device and I go, now, Simon, you're a smart boy. What do we think about this thing? Maybe we could do something with it?
Yeah. I just need... Nature's calling. Sorry.
Oh,
just need
of
to
course.
relieve
Don't mind us.
Some pressure. But I'll look into it soon, okay? I'll just step outside the door and I'll be right back.
And I sip my coffee. Does it taste good?
It tastes fantastic. Like the best coffee you ever have drinked.
Yeah, you know what? I take a sip and I just don't feel so bad for a minute. Coffee often does that to me in the morning. I don't feel so bad for a minute.
I take a look around at these sort of uniforms or clothes and stuff.
Yeah, actually, there are more things in here. There are a little table. Seems to have been made from the trees in the jungle. There are chairs, 4 chairs. And the little cottage seems full of things, different things. So there are like a ton of things to find in here. But the clothing that are hanging by the door out seems to be more of like jackets and trousers. There were a pair of high boots, like walking boots, in man size. But you can also see, when you look around, you can see a pair of boots for women also. Like they're laying on the side of one of the beds. And also there seems to be big boxes with things in. When you open one of them you can see there's a clothes in there, like more clothes to choose from. So
What about fresh underwear?
you can find female underwear also.
I mean, it's really important to me to have an urbane feel, like modern girl.
The only problem is these panties are like 50s panties. It looks like an old woman's panties. They are not made for like an old woman like that, but they are like really high, like over and kind of, so it's not tongue like you are used to. They're not so sexy if you catch my meaning.
I hold this stuff up and I just look at Wendy. It's like, what do you think?
Suits you just fine, I imagine. I have my sip of coffee, which I realize has healed me 1 stability. So I'll heal that.
Yeah. Everyone that drinks coffee gets 1 stability back.
And I will look over the clothing for a bit, because it may be... my clothing seems the most fine compared to the others, but I then just start looking around. Sit with my coffee, looking at this radio, this clothing, all these things, and I just start taking 4 or 5 minutes to investigate this scene. What does this all mean? What sort of people were here? What is... There must be something I can find.
You can roll for investigate. Is someone helping him?
I'm getting sort of dressed, I think, in some trousers and stuff, and it's really painful to pull them over my feet, so I ask, like, is there something that we could put on my feet? I mean, I'm used to having a bit of torn up feet from wearing very tight shoes and high heels and stuff like that, so I'm used to taking care of my feet at least. So I try to help her look around for stuff that we could use and perhaps something that I could bandage my feet with.
Well, as I'm looking around, I'll pause for a moment, and as Amber helps, let's see how that help goes. Because I need it.
I roll an 11. So +1.
Also, Simon is helping, but from the outside. Simon, you go out and to take a leak, I guess?
Yeah, the morning leak, you know.
Yeah. When you come out,
you gotta go.
When you come out in the glade, now in the morning with the sun shining down, it's kind of different here. The cottage, it seems to be like, well, more of a research station than a place for tourists. You can't really see how someone would build this in the middle of the jungle to just like stay here. It's really long from the beach, and and the high radio mast that raises up in the trees seem to be really state of the art. Maybe old, but normal people don't have like this kind of equipment. Also, you're taking your leak beside some trees, and when you walk back towards the cottage, you can also see that there's something of metal that reflects light just under the stairs. There were like 1 meter high poles that the cottage was built on, and this seems to be something that have fallen down between the stairs and under the cottage.
I cast quick glances around the opening here just to make sure there's nothing sneaking up on me or anything, and I'll bend over to check what's under the stairs or under the house.
Yeah. To your surprise, you take forward a hunting rifle, an old hunting rifle with a aim, big nice aim, and it seems a little bit rusty, but it's not like destroyed by rust. Would probably need some reparation, but this could be still useful. This kind of rifles are kind of sturdy.
Meanwhile, inside, I'm afraid it looks like even with Amber's help, I got an 8, so +1 would make that a 9.
Yeah, and then you got +2 by Simon also.
Oh, then that would make it 11. Oh.
So you get to ask me a question, but I think it's more reasonable if it's Simon they're gonna ask the question, because, yeah. But you two find a lot of things inside the cottage also. You have found the old radio. Like, pushing buttons and things like that doesn't help. It doesn't seem to start up. Don't know what is wrong with it. Maybe Simon can take a look at it. Amber, in a box near one of the beds, you find a revolver, a 38. It seems to be full with bullets, and in the box there are additional 6 bullets.
I found a gun.
Oh wow, sweetie, careful now. Don't just swing that around. Has it got a safety on? Is it loaded? Careful.
It seems to be loaded. I'm not holding it near the trigger. It's like very much like this.
Be careful. Oh dear. Obviously they...
I'm not gonna shoot it. I just put it back in the box and keep looking for something to wrap my feet
As
with.
she puts it
rather.
back in the box, I'll go over and I'll just sort of pocket it like, oh dear, no, let's keep that safe.
You mean you take it?
Yes.
Wendy, you also find what seems to be an old map.
My eyes widen a little as I sort of take up this old looking map. It's really strange. It seems to show the shape of the island. It's almost like a... On this sort of map it looks barely anything, a nice little tiny sliver of an island. It seems to have a bunch of forest marked to sort of the north, east, and then the mountains are in the middle. And then there's a red dot. I think maybe that's where we are, in a smaller section of forest. There's 3 little house symbols. One on the very tip of the island. One kind of nearby, actually, on another sort of tip of the island. Then there's one all the way at the very, very northeastern end, which looks like it's probably, if we've been travelling for a day and we're at this red spot, like that's days away. Now, the strangest thing of all, smack bang in the middle of those mountains, is this strange little symbol, like a... sort of like the little icon they do on like a holiday map when you're looking at ruins. A little ruin icon in the middle of the mountains. I kind of call out to Amber and say all this. Hey Amber, honey, look at this. I think we found ourselves a little map. What do you think? Do you think we're at this little red spot bit?
I come over and I eat some of the rations for breakfast as well.
Well, think about it, darling. Use your head. We're in the jungle right now, and this is a big red spot. This seems like an important place. Maybe we even landed at this little curve. You see that there's a little curve, like, south of us? Maybe that's the little reef that we came into. The mountains are to the north, so checks out.
Well, it's the only symbol that's kind of in the jungle. The other houses or whatever they are, it's like they're out in the open. Speaking of which, look at that. It's like it's a big area of just non-forested area, like a plain or something.
I know, right? You know what? Maybe these are. Maybe I'm being optimistic here, sweetie, but maybe there's ports. Or, they were docks or something.
Or there are like, different villages of different tribes. Maybe that was that guy that, the scared guy that kind of led us somewhere. That maybe that was like one tribe and then there's the other guys, one place.
I frown a little and remark, actually, that's a good point.
Simon is also coming into the house now, with the rifle in his hands.
Look what I found.
We found a gun too, and I point at Wendy's pocket.
Yes, I actually, Amber found one as well. Clearly they felt the need to protect themselves.
Do you think that's some kind of military place?
Doesn't really look like it, does it? I mean, wouldn't there be more military stuff then?
I don't know, they have bunk beds.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more of a research station, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Research station. How quaint. Have a look at this map, Simon. Look. I think we might be at this little red spot here. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? If we landed in this cove and now we're here. We don't know, though, if these little houses, all on the very far points of the island, are docks or villages.
Maybe if we find some kind of material, if it is a science, what do you say, research place, maybe they have made notes and stuff.
I put the rifle next to the door. I lean it against the wall next to the door.
There you also can see a big backpack, a hiking backpack, which of course is good, an extra backpack. And you also find a compass to use to get your bearings from. You can now see that in which way north is, and this would be really handy when you're going into the dense jungle to orient yourself. You find a machete, something to hack the vegetation away with, and also defend yourself against the creature that was stalking you before at the beach, or those small men that may have killed the man on the beach. In one of the boxes you also find a first aid bag with more bandages and painkillers and antibiotics to use if more bad things happen. Someone has rolled and packed 4 hammocks. It seems to be made with insect nets, so you can strap them up in the trees over the vegetation and sleep probably pretty good without being harassed by insects or any creeping things in the jungle.
So I'm starting to notice there's a lot of good clothing, backpacks. It seems to me this could be useful for everyone to take a backpack, get on some better clothes. I say to Simon, you young man, get yourself some shoes. Finally.
Yeah.
In one of the boxes by the beds, there are some more bullets for the rifle. Seems that whoever slept there owned the rifle. And when you check that box, you also find an old yellowed photograph with 4 people in it. There's a white bearded man, a slender man in his 30s with small round spectacles, a man's man, like big, with a mustache and a hunting rifle on the back. Obviously the owner of the rifle that you find, Sam. And also there's a beautiful blonde woman, around 35 years old, with a Marilyn Monroe hair, like blonde and a little bit puffy in the ends. They're all clothed in hats and expedition clothes. And on the back of the photograph it says June 14, 1951.
What were they doing here?
I shrug and I sort of just point at that ruin sort of symbol on the map and go, archaeology? I shrug.
Your guess is as good as mine. But, I mean, were they here 51, or did someone bring the picture? Because, I mean, the gear seems to have held up pretty good in that time, in that case.
That's true.
No, someone must have brought it. I mean, the hammocks and stuff, that's... No. This... Someone must have brought it, yeah?
There's one of the beds that you haven't really searched yet, and no one has been sleeping in it either. It's in the corner of the cottage.
I'll curiously go over and have an investigation, or a look.
Yeah, it seems that someone has made the sheets. The other beds are unmade, just left as they are. But this bed seems to have been taken care of by someone. When you look around the bed, you can see that one of the tiles in the wall seems a little bit loose near the pillow of the bed.
I laugh a little and I say aloud, well, would you look at that? It's almost like someone's got a little secret stash. Let's have a look. And I start trying to fiddle with this loose brick.
Yeah, you just kind of get it up, and inside you can find a little department where someone has hidden a notebook. It's an old notebook, the type you write in, and it's in a leather bound, knotted together. When you open it, you can see that someone has been noting down. It's like a diary.
I sit on that bed and don't say anything to the others. I just start reading.
Yeah, you drink your coffee and read in the book. The book starts on the 4th of April 1951. The writer is the Oxford anthropologist Anne Smith. And she tells that how she traveled to this island together with the ethnology professor William Chainsworth, his modest research assistant Richard Alderton, and the boastful, loud-mouthed American hunter and survival expert Raymond Bolton. They were exploring this myth about an island somewhere outside Indonesia. An island called Babingepa, or the Island of the Dead. The myths say that there lived a people there a very, very long time ago. They built a city in the mountains where they offered people to their god. The civilization were destroyed by a foreign army, and the island were forgotten. But these researchers believed that they could find the island by talking with people on a nearby island, the island of Pulau Taliabu in Indonesia. So they used the folklore on the island to kind of track the position of Babingepa, and then they traveled by boat, by ship over the sea for several days before they found this island. They built the research station in the jungle, and at an early stage these researchers made contact with the natives on the island. But they did, however, experience that the natives were aggressive. And Bolton, the hunter, was forced to shoot natives as they encountered them on their explorations on the island. Anne describes how they found out that there were 3 rivaling tribes on the island. And these tribes seemed to fight with each other, but also take prisoners from each other, prisoners that they offered to the god. She describes herself how she and others witnessed from a distance how one of these tribes tortured a young girl. Some kind of priest or shaman with a face painted like a skull. And a mantle made of wild boar tortured the girl over a pit of glowing coal. And then after the girl died, they ate the girl. On the 19th of February 1952, the researchers found the ruins of this mythic civilization up in the mountains. In an old stone city, they found bones and relics of houses and people, slaughtered people, but also a staircase that led into the caves of the mountain, like a temple, where Anne described how they found a statue of the people's god. This giant man, a giant naked man, with the head of a wild boar. And she tells in her diary how this statue was surrounded by skulls from offered humans, and how she got this really bad feeling from watching it, from being in the statue's presence. When they were trying to leave this temple of the ruined city, natives attacked them, and the research assistant Alderton was taken captive, while Anne, Bolton, and Professor Shainsworth managed to escape and return to the research station. The diary is concluded on February 25, 1952, and describes how natives have scouted around the research station for several days. And they are afraid to leave the station because of the natives. She believes that they will very soon attack, and that their numbers is too few to defend against these cannibals. She fears that they will meet the grim fate that Alderton probably already have met. That's her last notes in the diary.
As I read this, I pretty much a few pages in start saying it aloud. It just seems logical. I am thinking the entire time that the whole thing seems like a joke. This is a film. It's a silly story that my kids would watch. This isn't real life. But I finish the last page, put the book down, and just look at the others.
I've been sitting and trying to put something around my heels, just to wrap my heels. I suppose there was a first aid kit that I suppose I could have used. I don't know. Something.
You found a first aid bag, so you can use that to mend your sore feet.
Yeah, and maybe use some of that antiseptic stuff if it's a kind of wound.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as she reads, and the bit about the god with a face of a boar comes up, I freeze up, and I just look at her very intently. Oh my god, I saw that. I dreamt about that.
You have listened to a special episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played the adventure The Island of the Dead for KULT Divinity Lost. KULT is published by Helmgast. The music is from the official KULT soundtrack, featuring Atrium Carceri, Mechanoreceptor, Mind Divided, Warfield, Howler, Second Escape, Michael Idehall, Precision Field, Zwaga, Occult Cow Demise, Pandoras Black Book, and Tantrick Ape, and is used with permission from Helmgast. Finally, a big thank you to all of our Patreon backers. Creating all this content would not be possible without your generous support on Patreon. You give us so much energy, help us cover our costs, and open up time to record and edit. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. And remember, death is only the beginning.